Good morning. This is Phil Dixon with another edition of This Day in Black Baseball History. As you can see today, I'm sporting my Ruth Foster cap as I talk about baseball. I'm only coming on briefly this morning, so I'll probably only be on just a few minutes. But I do want to encourage you to be a subscriber. And we have a wonderful thing going here because we're building a community of people who are interested in the Negro baseball leagues, genuinely interested, and people who want to learn more, not just hear a few stories regurgitated from information that you can get off the internet, but somebody here like myself can really give you a lot of good information and just talking about the Negro baseball leagues. Straight down my head here. So anyway, I do want to thank everybody who's been a subscriber, and I do also want you to encourage you to maybe pick up my latest book. This is and actually it's Phil Dixon's American Baseball Chronicles: The Great Teams, the 1910 Chicago Leland Giants. Guys, you can see it's not a thin book, and so how can you write a book 400 pages about one team in one season, 1910? Guys, hey, I do that kind of thing. And so you might want to pick that up. So once again, this is just going to be a short broadcast because I am 20 subscribers away from 700, and I am determined to roll up my sleeve and hit that number. As you know, we came on I think it was last July, and started participating in these live programs. So since the July, I've been talking continuously. So your support has been amazing. But the interesting thing is, I noticed that I'm getting really good baseball people in on this site. So I can tell by the questions. So the questions that people are asking, and I see what they're sharing and what they're talking about. Then also start to see repeated broadcasts of topics that I had talked about on other people's sites, people that I can't even tell if they're subscribers. But anyway, that's what we do. So if you've never picked me up before and you want information like this, so be sure to subscribe and come back. So this is going to be a little short broadcast. I will probably be back several times today talking about different things, okay? So if you're joining me in this short area, this little short broadcast, let me know where you're joining from. Somebody says hello. Hey there. Always welcome to talk. Said Tan Fan Forever. That's an interesting name. All right then. Sometimes I don't read the names because they're so difficult. Some people are so creative and they put on names that, man, it's just like, first of all, the writing is small here, right? And then on top of some of these names are just so creative that it's amazing. So, all right then. So I'm going to go ahead with this one baseball fact that I have for today. And I don't know if you know much about the Pacific Coast League, but they were out in California, of course, and they were considered one step under the major leagues. And so at that particular time, there was two leagues, actually three. There was the International League, of course, the American Association, and then the Pacific Coast League. They were called Triple A League. So they're going to have the best players. And so to get games against teams in those leagues were highly important to show the ability that these black players had back in the 1920s, the teens, whatever. So this game took place on March 15th, 1925. And this was a big game played by the St. Louis Giants. The St. Louis Giants +1. They had Hurley McNair, who played for the Monarchs. So he was with them. So they played a game in Sacramento, California against the Pacific Coast League squad. And after leading by 7 runs and knocking out the Pacific Coast League starter in the second inning, the Giants lost 8-7. Can you imagine that? To the Sacramento Senators. And this game was full of thrills. And of course, remember Hurley McNair from the Kansas City Monarchs. He's one of the greatest, what they call sun fielders. This guy could play in the field where the sun is shining in his face, and he could, handle that position very well. So Hurley McNair originally comes out of Marshall, Texas. Of course, he passed away in Kansas City, Missouri. The house where he last lived, is still there, by the way. So anyway, Hurley McNair playing in that game, he went 2 for 4 with a triple and scored 3 runs. And then a guy named Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo passed away, I think, 1930, 31. Actually got a hold to some bad liquor. And He passed out in Mexico. They brought him back across the border. He ended up passing away, they said, in California, but he actually probably passed away in Mexico. They just brought him back. He was out of Texas as well. And Willie Bobo, great first baseman for the St. Louis Stars before Emil Sotos got there. And Willie Bobo in this particular game, he went 2 for 4. And also, William Ross was pitching. William Nacogdoches Ross. Now, the reason they called him Nacogdoches, I remember talking to Papa Bell. He was the one that clued me in on this. Nacogdoches is where he was from. So when ball players are given nicknames, the old ball players, they would look at what you ate, how you dressed, how you talked. They would look at everything, how you played your position, and that's how you got your nickname. So occasionally, you would get somebody, they just couldn't come up with something good, so they just called him where he was from. So this was Nacogdoches Ross, and he ended up taking the loss, and he even had a great day at bat. He went 2 for 3, but that wasn't enough. And a pitcher by the name of Carroll, Carroll, Canfield, pitching in relief of that Senator starter that they had knocked out in the second inning. He shut them down for the rest of the way and earned the win. Or the victory, let's just say that. Now, what do you know about Canfield? Now, Canfield played 7 seasons in the minor leagues, mostly in the Pacific Coast League. I think he played in the Western League as well, but he never reached the major league. So that's American National League level, right? And in 1925, the same season that he had beat the contingent of St. Louis Giants, he posted 10 wins, 11 losses in 170 Pacific Coast League innings. So now there you have it, guys. And this is just my little short, brief thing today. I appreciate, boy, lots of people coming in here. And so anyway, I love talking about baseball. And once again, I am trying to get to the 700 subscribers. I would love that to do that today, guys. So if you actually are somewhere and listening and you haven't subscribed, please do that. It doesn't cost you anything. It just alerts you when I come on with baseball information. And believe me, I talk about information all over the nation because I've traveled all over the nation. And eventually I'm going to come down your road. All right. Somebody said they just subscribed. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And be sure and come back and let me know where you're joining from, because that's always interesting. So somebody says, I actually don't know how to play baseball, but this is interesting history. Thank you. Thank you. And, when I go out to speak, and I will tell you this, guys, I speak a lot. And this is like my 46 years, a baseball historian. And I go out and I do speaking. I open with poetry. I play trumpet. If you go back and listen through some of my lives, you will see somewhere I actually play trumpet. I can play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I played the national anthem on many things. But I'm a really knowledgeable baseball person. I've had, this will be my 46th year in the Negro Leagues, but I started off in the 2nd and 3rd grade, just being one of those kids who just enjoyed baseball and the history of it. And one of the first stories that I started off with was one about Babe Ruth. It was in our reader when I was in elementary school, and the video said this. They were talking about Babe Ruth, and I didn't know anything about Babe Ruth. I'm gonna just tell you the truth, right? I did not know anything about Babe Ruth, but I remember in the story they said that Babe Ruth ate 21 hot dogs between a doubleheader. And I'm in elementary school. I don't know anything about home runs. I never knew that 714 home runs was a monumental number. If you had told me he batted 300, that wouldn't have meant anything to me. But long story short, when they said 21 hot dogs, guys, that's what did it for me. And so that's when I became a baseball fan, after reading the story of Babe Ruth eating 21 hot dogs between a doubleheader. And I didn't even know what a doubleheader was, right? So a doubleheader, by the way, in case we don't have someone here who's not a baseball fan, is 2 games played back to back, but they have a little intermission in the middle. So I didn't know that. I was in elementary school, guys. And so, but that's how I became a fan. And so anyway, guys, somebody said, Bob Poet said, counting down 17 subscribers. All right, Bob. Now, I've got to go to church this morning. and I'm going to be in the neighborhood of the old Kansas City, Kansas Giants. And I have to go to an event after church at another church, right? So since I'm in that area, I may go down to the street where the Kansas City, Kansas Giants played and do a live from there, just to let you look at the neighborhood and see how much has changed since 1910, around in that period when they played there. So anyway, guys, like I said, this is a short broadcast. I appreciate everybody who's given me support and subscribed and listen. If you just listen for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, guys, I guarantee you, eventually you're going to learn something. And I'm going to come down your street. I tell you that, guys. I'm going to come through the area where you live with some type of baseball information. So I appreciate all the hearts, guys, and thank you. And I will be back again. And so like I said, I'm determined to try to get these subscribers today. So I think I'm going to come on with that live. I just have to ask my wife if she don't mind going over to the neighborhood because she's involved in some of the programs related to the church activity. So anyway, I'm all dressed. And I don't know, maybe I'll keep my Foster hat because Ruth Foster did play at that particular park in that area that I'm going to today. So maybe I'll keep this hat with me. All right. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you joining me. It's been my pleasure again. And this is Phil Dixon, and I am a baseball historian. Phil S. Dixon is what I go by. And I just respect you all for your support. And I will continue to bring you information, and I will continue to build this network, guys, this community of people who are interested in baseball history, not just like, well, let me put it this way. I could come on and tell you somebody batted 390 in 1942, but a lot of people who listen to this, they aren't really those kind of baseball fans, right? They don't follow the numbers just like I did when I first started. I didn't follow the numbers. I just saw people hitting the ball. That was amazing to me. I saw people catching the ball. That was even more amazing. Then saw how fast they could throw, and I thought that was amazing. And so here I am today, all these years later, still talking about baseball from something I saw as a second and third grader. Just amazing to me. So, guys, that's it for me. I will be back, I guarantee you, and if probably more than one time today. All right. All right. So, thank you, guys. And thanks for joining in. And Bob Poet, he's a great follower. I always appreciate Bob coming in. And Bob, he comments a lot on and does research on some of the things that I say because I try to say I don't know it all and I don't have time to research it all. And so the people in this network become very important to me. All right. Thank you, guys. You have a nice day, and I will see you again. I'm not sure what time. You might have to catch it up in the replay, but I will be back. I guarantee you at least 2 more times today. Bye. And we're going to get that 17 subscribers. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.